Hello and welcome to the next session of Anime Slaughterhouse. When last we met, you had encountered a very large and kind of depressing force that kind of made you guys fight in a pretty big battle. After all was said and done, you guys did emerge victorious, although it was a bit of a bittersweet victory due to the fact that you found some disturbing things out that had happened. You weren't sure if you had actually pushed, whether you had been tricked or whatnot. And in all that confusion, you did manage to take a few captives. You went back aboard the ship and interrogated them and found out even more disturbing news that it appears that this force that's chopping between worlds and expanding heartless territories is a lot bigger and stronger than you guys thought. So right now you guys are on the ship, currently just resting up. Some are crafting, others are putting their heads together, and right now the other NPCs are kind of discussing where to go from here and seeing if they're ready to leave this world or if there's a lot more that needs to be done. So for now, you guys are kind of on downtime. For anyone doing crafting or any downtime, 24 hours will pass in this set. So for now, you guys are just on the ship, kind of just waiting, minding your own business. If you guys wish to do anything, you may declare actions in text and or in voice. And we shall begin. Right now, the ship is pretty quiet. You try to stealth the stealth, but you realize your stealth can't match this ship's stealth, so you're out stealthed. Maybe you should have brought a limbo. You realize that his stealth was out stealthed by the ship's stealth, as is your stealth, so neither one of you can out stealth the stealth. You have both failed.
I'm okay with that.
Winter, the last time you were on this ship, you kind of were amazed by it, although your character's kind of gotten a little bit over that now. And not more than a few hours ago, your companions came back and were a little bit depressed, even though they had, according to what you had heard, they had won the fight. Scarlet, you find the succubus sitting in the holding cell that you guys had placed for her. Of course, she's somewhat covered up with a bag over her head and bound rather tightly just so she can't speak or do any spells or whatnot. But she's just sitting on one of the benches that's in the cell. She kind of, you can see that her head kind of tilts up a bit and she seems to get a little bit perked. At first, she doesn't say much, and then after a while, she says, "Well, I am certainly enticed to hear this proposition, darling. Go ahead. I'm all ears." Uh, 24 hours have passed. Go ahead and make me a craft check, Casimir, to see how things go here, and then when you get a blank sheet here, I'll let you know what your stats of your golem are.
Alrighty.
Very good.
Almost
So how this
10.
so how this golem's going to work, at least the way how I usually work them into my games when it comes to crafting and stuff. You're going to he's basically your golem is going to be power level 10, but not all of his points are going to be spent right now.
Okay, so I have room for improvement.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is you're going to get 100 out of the 150 points, and you can put those where you like, into what powers you like. However, his powers, if you do any powers right now, they can't go above power level 5, just because he's a fresh creation. In terms of stats, they can't go above 10. And in terms of defenses, you can actually put those at max if you want, at least following the limitations of the game. And as for advantages, you can do any you want there. So other than that, I think we're good. Zareth, as you pause to consider all the things that have happened, you realize that the enormity of what you've witnessed is pretty large. You've never seen anything like this. You don't think anyone anywhere has seen anything like this, but you have been ripped from your world basically against your will, and you are really not sure what to think about all of it, but you know that killing these things seems to give you a little bit of fire and essence, these Heartless. It seems like killing them gives you a little bit of a purpose. So for now, you at least have something to cling on to. Scarlet, the succubus, kind of tilts its head a bit and says, "Are you saying that you want to be in a pact of sorts?" Okay, Scarlet, I'm going to need you to roll me a will save, 1d20 plus your will defense, and this will be a contested roll versus hers.
Okay, will defense.
Yeah, whatever your will is, 1d20 plus your will. That was a whoa! That was a crit. Good job, Scarlet. Scarlet, the succubus agrees to the pact and tries to kind of sneakily overwhelm your mind when you make the pact with her, but you win. So you are now packed with the succubus. You now have pact level 1. As for what it does, I am not telling you yet. But you have a potential ally, I say in quotes.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Technically, John, you guys are actually gaining your recommended resources from killing Heartless. And basically, after a certain amount of time, when I give you guys PowerPoints, that's basically you guys using those to level or to gain skill or from knowledge. Whatever you guys wish to add on to the fluff. Dang, I gotta say, BP, good roll on that possession of the succubus.
See,
That's okay.
the crits always come through. Hold on.
It's also at this point, Rhino, that because you've been back on the ship, actually, this is your first time on the ship. You, I imagine, would have tried to establish communication with your previous, with your ship and with maybe the Lotus or however you want to go about it. But you found that connections or communications have been almost impossible. However, the ship's technology is equal, if not greater than that of the one than your than your Cephalon. So it's starting to feel a little bit like home. But you feel at this point that maybe it's best to just continue your primary objective that you had before. And these Heartless do seem to be, giving you a little bit of a purpose, so perhaps this is where you should go. I couldn't remember which one was which, so basically whatever previous dimension you came. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry, I forgot that the Lotus wasn't in your backstory. The Shepard and Dresden are kind of looking at you, Scarlet, like we're really not going to let her out to where she can influence someone else. Just because you seem to be getting along with her, that doesn't mean everyone else on the ship will. So as far as we know right now, Scarlet, she's going to stay in there until anything else. I will go by. Hmm, no one's ever actually asked me my real name. Um, I will go by Orissa.
Wait, isn't there somebody else already named Orissa?
I have no idea. There's Irasa, not Orissa.
Okay, Paparissa?
There's Irasa and Orissa.
Okay, so she's Orissa.
Hmm.
Okay.
Indeed, Rhino. It's actually pretty straightforward, you realize, when everything's kind of coming to it. And actually, in all honesty, there's a few records of similar encounters from beings of your world in this multiverse war that have been had. So it's a you may in fact run into some Corpus or Grineer here. Who knows? I am indeed eager to learn about what you've been reading in that book, at least from what I've been hearing outside of the cells. It's quite the read. Some of you can see your other companions stroll about the ship, everyone seeming to mind their own business, although there have been quite a few people who have gone down to the training deck to assess their combat skills after the last rather large bit of combat that you guys all encountered. There's a bit of unease on the ship as everyone found out a bit of the disturbing news. However, if Casimir is up for something, Dresden does have something to tell you. If Casimir is in the voice chat.
I
Oh, yeah.
is.
The wolf stutters a bit. At first, it looks like it won't really work, and then the eyes light up, and it turns and looks at you, and it awakes.
Well, after 12 hours, I would hope it would work. Well, let's
Tec-
get going. Let's see how
technically,
you walk.
technically, you've been working on it for 48 hours total.
Well, yes, but this last session was a
Yeah.
12-hour nonstop.
Yep, and I gave you guys a 24-hour set, so if you got an extra 24 hours. So,
Yeah, I was sleeping.
all right. So the wolf awakes and kind of goes up to you. By the way, how big is this thing?
I would say it comes almost to my shoulder.
Okay. How long?
Like I said, how long?
Yeah.
Mm,
I assume it's just a really big kind of dire wolf kind of size.
yeah, something I could potentially mount in battle if needed.
Yeah, I figured as much. The wolf kind of just looks at you. Now, is this golem metallic with like clockwork gears, or is it like a full-on solid? How's it look?
Well, since he does have the ability to cast lightning, right?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, then he would be clockwork with some Tesla coils off on his sides.
Alrighty. The wolf's eyes kind of glow a bright, vibrant blue, and it just kind of tilts its head at you and just looks at you.
How intelligent is it?
That depends on how many points you spend in intelligence.
Okay, what's its base right now?
Right now, its base is 0, which is average.
Okay. And how many points do I have to spend? 100.
You have 100. You have 100 out of 150. So, in other words,
Okay.
your guy isn't complete, and as you level him up and whatnot, you'll eventually start to kind of give him stuff.
Okay.
And then after he hits max level, then he'll start to level with you normally and get power points as
Okay.
well. So,
So in that case, I would just have him follow me while I go get a cup of coffee.
all
I'm
right.
still tired.
Yeah, you indeed. Mr. Casimir has been working pretty much late through the night. You go into the mess hall and you go up to the scanner and you put your requirements for the cup of coffee you want, and it comes out one. You take a sip. It's nice and warm, just the right temperature, just the right mixes of everything. There doesn't seem to be too many other people in the mess hall except for Mr. Dresden, and he's sitting down, sipping a cup of coffee, reading some sort of hollow print. And the wolf just
Okay.
kind of takes its place next to your side at the table.
What you working on, Dresden?
Trying to figure out what in the heck's going on here. We had a bit of a scare. In all honesty, it looks like we're not quite done in the Shivering Isles just yet. We've had a couple more portals open up, but I guess the real problem is that Keyblade you wanted me to look at from our little friend in the cell.
Yes.
It's legitimate.
I'm guessing it's a darkness one, not a light.
From what I can tell, I'm not entirely sure. Actually, it's the Keyblades themselves don't really seem to have much energy about them, other than the fact of whatever they take upon their wielder. But I guess you could almost describe this one as neutral.
Interesting. Well, we should get it packed up nice and tight so nobody can get at it and send it over to Master Yensid.
Believe me, I've got it all wrapped up and I've got it placed with level 10 protection charms, and that's the best I can do.
Well, that's as good as we can get. For the moment, at least.
Hopefully. By the way, when you guys were down there, we kind of lost a bit of contact. That's actually why I sent a few down there to help you guys out. What did anything happen down there besides the fight? Anything unusual?
I think I missed a game session when there was anything. So I think I was on autopilot at that time. What
Hmm.
did happen?
Do you remember what happened at the end of the fight?
Yes,
Okay.
vaguely.
Do you remember the conversation with Sheo Gorath?
There was cheese and Jabberwock involved.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been focusing on my own game that I'm running and
No, I hear you. No worries. Basically, you kind of concluded that it looked like this fight that you guys were in was a distraction, and something else was happening on the Shivering Isles, and you guys weren't sure what it was.
that's right.
But apparently, Sheo Gorath told you something else was going on, and it was something off in the caverns, and you guys weren't able to go investigate because you got basically
Didn't he say
caught.
something about a cult?
Yes.
See, as you say stuff, it comes back to my memory.
You see Scarlet enter the mess hall.
Casimir nods.
Scarlet, you notice Casimir sitting there with a new companion, a dire wolf sized, what looks like to be mechanized clockwork golem. And now BP's typing intensifies.
Just like, how the fuck?
Press R to win. No.
Get some really good rolls, and you too one day could have a golem.
Well, dude, did you just see his roll up top? Did you miss that?
Yeah, that was a really good roll.
Like I haven't touched this. Like even
No, you have a new companion. Casimir doesn't know about this. He just woke up after a 12-hour invention session.
Oh yeah, but Scarlet comes up and says, "Oh, a doggy! How dark is it? It looks so amazing. I bet I can just pet it, then it'll just swallow me in darkness. It's so amazing, so edgy. I love it."
She's basically doing this
Well,
thing around your golem where it's the anime thing where the character teleports all over the object and is like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh,
yeah,
ooh, ooh.
yeah. Well, for one thing, it's not made out of darkness.
Oh, it's not? Oh,
No.
he just walks away.
It's powered by lightning and a bit of magic.
That doesn't matter. It's not made of darkness. Usually it involves some darkness in it, like the darkness that is found within the earth and then deep down your soul that you don't want to accept. Because, yeah, that's the best way to live your life.
Bit dangerous with me when it comes
Oh
to
no, you just have
darkness.
to give in. It's wonderful. You'll just
More
never
like
find anyone.
volatile. You stick to you, I stick to me. How about that?
Yes, and I'll also stick to your shadow because it looks amazing.
That's interesting.
your
And he continues to sip his coffee.
your shadow coughs.
Because trust me and your shadow, we've been reading a lot of fanfics. Well, not fanfics, but books. I like what he's into.
Not even
not
close.
not creepy at all.
No, at this point, it's like there is so many different worlds out there. There's just some things you will never know.
Exactly.
But then
So
Scarlet
Scarlet, you are in the mess hall. What would you like to do?
eats some eggs,
Smegs, how would you like them?
fried with cheese.
You type that into the atomizer, and it gives you out some fried eggs with cheese.
Yep, and I eat it and go back to the training hall because I'm like, there's a place where I can find more people who are training, and I can also throw some popcorn at them. More fun.
you and that damn
Must make fun of
you
everybody.
and that damn popcorn. All right, so Scarlet heads off, and Casimir, you notice that after she leaves, your shadow stretches back to normal size. You didn't even realize that it was actually enlarged slightly. Like there was more. Think of it like this: think if someone walked towards you, and they had like a lantern, and it extended your shadow, but she didn't have any
Think
light
of it
around
kind
her.
of like what happens when Sasuke uses his shadow jutsus.
Yeah, that's not Sasuke.
Okay.
That's Shikamaru.
Well, Naruto.
Yes. Yeah, it's the same show. You at least got a character right.
Yeah, but it's Shikamaru. Like,
Yes,
that's
it's
It's been so long and I don't care about the series enough that it's just
yeah,
I
basically
know of a character that does that.
yeah, kind of like Shikamaru's thing. It extends the shadow, and you notice that when she leaves the room, your shadow kind of shrinks back to normal size.
Alrighty. Just think that's a part of her abilities and continue to finish my cup of coffee while seeing if Dresden could give me any pointers on golems.
Well, he kind of looks at it for a moment, just almost now kind of realizing that it's there. he opens up his, you can tell he opens up his sight and looks at it, and he's like, whoa. Clockwork invention mixed with Tesla technocracy magic. That is some pretty impressive work there.
And it's not finished.
No kidding. Well, let's see. The best I can do for you is keep that guy happy. Uh, Make sure he doesn't drown in water.
Makes sense.
And whenever using golems, I've found it's usually best to always make sure you have their power source nearby, or at least some sort of, I guess, battery pack.
It might be a little bit different with this guy.
Indeed, I'm not familiar with clockwork technology.
Battery packs built on the inside. It powers the consciousness, and a second battery pack for the Tesla coils.
What did you use for a soul?
Um, well, the way I've learned it, it never required a soul. It just needed magic, a magic circle to be
Hmm,
precise.
interesting, because most golems that I know of need soul, but when I'm looking at this one right now with the sight, Casimir,
Uh
uh,
huh.
there's a soul in there. I don't know
Interesting.
what it's of, but there's something in there.
Interesting. Well, as far as I know, I didn't use a soul.
Sometimes when you make a construct or vessel, such as an item, it can attract souls naturally.
What,
Some
almost like your skull there?
what? Bob? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's actually exactly the same. Some items, especially if they've been imbued with magic power or higher energy ratings, they can attract souls naturally, and if the soul is strong enough, they can push right into it and use it as a vessel.
Do you think Bob would have any input on this?
Well, I don't know. He might, but he's been piped up pretty quiet for the last 24 hours.
Interesting. Do you think it's because of the succubus?
Possibly, although I think it's mostly because due to that interference, it kind of shook
Made him
everything up.
weak?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Well, give him some time, keep him near what can, I guess, heal him in a sense, and hope for the best. At least
Indeed,
that's what I would do.
of course. Although, in all
Well,
honesty, we may wind up having to head back down to the Shivering Isles. Do let me know if you want to take a trip down there. Everything seems to be okay, but I wouldn't recommend going alone anywhere right now.
that's very true, considering we got that threat of a cult and other nasty shit coming about.
Yeah, that cult. I've been doing some scans of the area, and it seems there's a very large amount of magical energies or activity going by these old ruins. That might be the best place to check and start and see if we can't find this Wabajak thing.
Hmm.
Key
Well,
powerful items can be conduits to portals that open up in the world. If we can dispel that, then we basically got this world secure.
I know of one Wabajack, but it's probably not the same. This one comes from Alice's land.
Hmm. We shall have to see. Does anyone else wish to take the floor? Like Mr. Winter, who has been quiet?
The entire time I have not talked to you in a long fucking time, dude.
Yeah, Winter just does that. He just like vanishes for 20 years and then he's like, ah, fuck it. Yeah, I hear that. Floor plating? Oh, I see. It's only now that this moment, Casimir, that you've forgotten that you didn't wear pants. No, I'm just kidding.
I would be in some shorts and a tank top. I'm not wearing my armor right now.
Of course,
The
you can.
pauldron would be on.
Of course, you can summon your armor at any time. So
Exactly, the pauldron is always on.
it seems we have some typing.
Furious typing.
So, Casimir, as you look up, the door is open, and you see a man in plate armor. You recognize this one as Zareth, and he's wielding a rather large-looking sword on his back, and he's got some equipment on him. Looks geared for basically medieval warfare. And he walks in and says, "Where does one find sustenance?"
We go over to that panel over there, and should be. I guess all of us know how to use it.
Zareth the Soulless. Using the atomizer is fairly simple. Type in or describe what you want. Type in all notifications and how much of it you want. It will atomize between you. Simply make a selection and press the atomize button.
Might seem like magic once it comes out, so I warn ya.
Dresden kind of looks up. He says, "One could consider science the explanation of magic. Science and magic are basically one and the same thing. They're both magic, just one has a different explanation than the other."
Isn't that why your magic doesn't work with technology?
Indeed, the paradigms contradict. However, we've worked on this ship very, very difficultly, and we've actually managed to combine multiple paradigms. It's actually how this ship works with magic and technology working interchangeable, and the paradigms don't conflict.
Hmm.
And you don't
I've
even want to.
noticed that the magic in my world has never had any difficulty with technology.
Indeed, it depends on what worlds you enter. Paradigms are based around what people believe, and what the majority of people truly, truly believe in. Some worlds can easily obtain magic and perform them. And other worlds, the paradigm is fractured, flawed, split. In other worlds, magic doesn't even exist at all. It's science. But yes, any science, no matter how simple, is indistinguishable from magic to those who do not understand it. That is a very good point.
Yep. Well,
Uh, Zara, if you slam your you slam I did, and it says bacon and eggs, and it just hands you a tray of bacon and eggs that just appears before you.
The question is it a copious amount? Or is
He
it just like
he.
2 eggs and 2 slices of bacon?
Well, it's basically a numpad, so I'm assuming that if he slammed it, he took the base of his fist and slammed it in the center, which would be around where the 5 or 6 is. So it gives him about 5 pieces
Okay.
of bacon and about 5 eggs.
Have a hearty meal.
And of course, some worlds you go to both work in tandem. It just kind of all depends on the paradigm. Sometimes you have to take powerful beings, entities, or spirits to help you kind of hold the films of reality together. For example, we've built the ship with 2 Weaver spirits, and that was hard enough, and that's how everything's kind of held together. Plus, using the paradigm of magic and science was already hard enough, but it works quite well. Not to mention, we built this ship in a magical and scientific paradigm, so it tends to work pretty well.
Well, isn't it based off of the technology from my world?
Yes, mostly. Although we've added quite a few add-ons. It's actually a mix of multiple technologies, majority being the Gumi technology, but a lot of others in it as well.
That's fair. Well, Casimir finishes his cup of coffee, stands up, like, one more cup, maybe something to eat, and down to the training floor with you. He's looking at his wolf.
Wolf kind of looks up at you, tilts his head.
Make sure you can run and fight and cast. Everything works out perfectly.
Wolf lets out a robotic bark.
Perhaps learn a little bit about the soul that's inside you.
The wolf nods up and down.
This will be an interesting day. And proceeds to fill up his coffee and order some biscuits and gravy.
You order biscuits and gravy, and you see Zareth is now munching away at his food. You order a nice big plate of biscuits and gravy, and it's pretty nice looking. For a replicator biscuits and gravy, they still look pretty darn good.
To which I chow down, and once finished with that, me and the dog are going down to the training hall.
All right. You proceed down to the training hall. Winter, after you are done eating, would you also like to head down to the training hall?
It's where everybody else is, dude.
Okay. After you all finish up your breakfast, you head down to the training hall for some much needed exercise, especially after those meals. You enter the large white training floor with the typical holograph and whatnot. There are many training rooms. It's actually a very large gym segmented into about 3 or 4 sections. Each section can actually be squared off and give you kind of your own unique training room. Basically, the overall gym has the gym, a weight room, I believe 2 or 3 combat rooms, and another simulation room for generalized purposes. It also has a firing range. But there are 2 hollow rooms, with a third smaller one for more generalized things. 2 specifically designed for combat. And of course, the gym itself can also be hollowed and simulated. Yep, you realize, Rhino, that the maps coming up and whatnot are pretty well detailed, and you're getting pretty much everything you need. Although things are still a bit fractured due to unexplored territories, so. As everyone else enters the gym, it seems to actually be fairly empty right now, except for Rhino over in the corner and Miss Scarlet over in the corner eating popcorn and reading a book.
Alrighty. So, like I said, go into the holograph room to get some running for the dog.
All right. What kind of training would you like to specify?
One-on-one basic combat.
In other words, the dog
One-on-one
versus.
fight.
In other words, the dog versus one target.
Yep, on a flat plane.
Okay.
So
You
movement.
you guys are basically out on a flat field. It simulates one target, level one level 1 heartless. It appears before you and kind of just looks at you. It's one of the little guys.
And then I say attack.
Dog's eyes glow red and then springs forward to attack.
And what should I roll for that?
Well, since you haven't really gone through his combat stats yet, I guess.
You want me to just roll a d20 and you add it on your own?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and add what he's got right now.
Alrighty.
I would assume you wanted to make him fairly decent at combat, so I assume it would be a plus 10.
Yeah. Something like that. Ooh. He rolled a 7.
Which would be a 17, which hits the Heartless's defense.
Sweet.
He springs forward and slashes at the Heartless. It disintegrates. You can see magical energies kind of flow through the body.
Standing next to the settings panel still, I'm going to redo the settings, make it 3 level 1 heartless and tactics at a novice level.
Okay. 3 Heartless appear, once again black on the playing field, and they look. And since it's technically real combat now, I'll go ahead and roll initiative for the Heartless.
And what's his bonus?
Since you wanted him to be full, I imagine you have decent dex. Go ahead and do plus 5. Heartless will all go first. And I'll just assume you've maxed out his defenses, so they will attack now. Miss. They all missed.
Everything misses.
Your wolf is quite agile at dodging these little pathetic Heartless.
Okay. So what would you say his dodge is at?
10. I'd say dodge, parry are at 10. And then as for
writing down as we go.
Yeah, and then as for toughness and fortitude, we'll just see. I actually gave you a character sheet for him, so you can make him as you want in terms of stats and attributes. If you need help with powers, you can just let me know.
Yeah. I just want to have them written down so I have them in front of me right now. Just what they're at base right now. That way I can... Alrighty. And you said fort and toughness or what?
We haven't decided those yet, but I'll just say they're at 5 right now.
We'll decide it once they get hit.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So it's the wolf's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to attack the nearest one? Damn.
That is a crit. I'll go ahead and consider this because it's a group and I'm using pack tactics or group stats. Because that's a crit, it'll do double damage, which means the difficulty will be doubled. So none of the Heartless will physically be able to pass this, but I'll roll anyway.
Alrighty.
They all fail.
Damn.
It kills all three Heartless in one swing.
So it just dashes through them and bites each one as it goes.
Pretty much.
Oh. Looks like you're going to be an excellent addition to our team dynamic. Alrighty, let's get some magic out of it. See if you can get those done. And I set up the appropriate things for a dummy for healing and a dummy for lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll have him cast the lightning first.
These two abilities will be slightly more difficult for your wolf to proceed, so this will be a 1d20 plus 5.
Plus 5. Alrighty. So lightning is a bust.
That will be a miss.
Alrighty. So the lightning bolt passes just over the dummy's shoulder and strikes the wall behind it. And he goes to try again with a 21.
This time you hit on target.
Cool. Strikes it and gives off a little electric field as if it's stunned. Let's try healing next. And the wolf will turn to the healing dummy and cast healing. Plus 5 as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 24.
That is a success. The heal would go off successfully.
Now, I don't really have the ability to deal with darkness. So I couldn't really make a golem out of darkness.
You just gotta attack the darkness with magic missile.
Magic missile, magic missile, magic missile. Attack the darkness.
So you find that your wolf successfully can use that ability now. Both abilities.
Sweet. Alrighty. Switching back to fighting, and we're gonna work on his defenses.
Alrighty. So for that, I'll just have you go ahead and customize as you want, and we'll just say that the training goes as normal. Going over to Una here, after the group got back from their big fight, uh, they were kind of determining that they'd have to go back to the Shivering Isles to kind of fix a little problem that's going on. And at the moment, everyone's just got a bunch of downtime and they're just kind of chilling on the ship. Uh, when you got back, one of the characters, one of the players, I believe it was Omega, said that he saw the man with snakes that pulled you out of your world and forced you into the other one. And apparently that he is on the Shivering Isles. Do you tell anyone this? All right. After all the training and whatnot commences, Casimir and Zareth, and of course Rhino and Scarlet, uh, the one you know is Lakora, the Khajiit, comes toward you guys and tells you that she is going to go look for the man with snakes down on the Shivering Isles. Typing intensifies.
Casimir declines. He's still working on his wolf.
So, Lakora, the two that come up and volunteer with you are two very large, what look like pieces of armor. One appears to be a man in large plate mail with a very large sword, and the other appears to be an even larger being in full metal plate armor with a big kind of horned helmet.
Does he also have a fucking massive sword?
I can't remember. What melee weapon does Rhino have?
Because that would just be fucking hilarious.
Ah, so actually Rhino's just been going around punching people. He doesn't have his melee weapon yet.
Okay then. Still equally as intimidating. Because you're like, what, 8 feet tall?
I think Rhino's like what, 7 foot? 6'7"?
Taller than I am.
I think Zareth is like 6'7". Yeah, very large size rank.
So, almost juggernaut status.
Hmm. So Lakora. All right. You guys all go to the teleporter and you see Commander Shepard there, and she says, "All right, as long as you're all going together." So, very well. She kind of looks at all of you and she says, "Be ready. Stay in contact. Don't do anything stupid." Unfortunately, I can't, but I'll definitely send. Let's see if there's anyone available. She goes through the list real quickly. Yes, I can send the Spartan down. What in the heck is a Kirby? She just kind of looks at you like, huh? He mostly specializes in shield and hand-to-hand combat. I doubt he's not bringing any of the explosive weapons. That's also why I'm not sending the bounty hunter, because I told him no disintegrations last time.
Hey bot, just to double check, I have 100 points to spend on my wolf.
100.
Okay.
Powers cannot go above level 5. Defenses can be full. Attack bonus can be full. Overall power of a weapon cannot go above 8. And as for feats or whatnot, those are all available. So you guys see the Spartan warrior come out. He says, "Hi, this was actually the guy who fought with you down on the planet. For those who were actually fighting." He comes in kind of a big thing of steel and somewhat high tech looking armor, and he says, "All right, send us down, Shepard." Send the Ghostbusters. You guys only have a handful of NPCs. I'm not giving you guys everything until you go find them. He looks down at you, and when you ask, "Is that Ebony?" and he's like, think of it as ebony with magical blessings." Yeah, that might work a lot better on the Heartless, that's for sure. Alrighty then. Let me get some stuff going here. So, Casimir, just double checking, you are not going down to the plant surface?
That is correct.
You were all beamed down into a freshly, I'd say 6-inch deep level of snow. You guys are actually not too far from where the fight took place. You can see a bit of remnants and whatnot. There's a very small blizzard and kind of a wind that's picked up. So yes, you leave a crater, Rhino. Zach goes forward and starts kind of pulling out a little scanner and starts looking around. And he says, "Well, Cora, if your man is here, he'd probably be emitting at least some sort of energy reading. And I'm getting something from, it looks like, the ruins up north about a couple clicks from here." The Cora, you look up and you can see that in the direction that he's looking and scanning, there are a couple tracks or whatnot that have been kind of covered by now, but you can definitely tell something went that way, although there was definitely more than one. Although most of the tracks have been covered, so they're somewhat difficult to find right now. Agreed. Scarlet, go ahead and roll me your perception check, whatever it is. There's definitely some dark energy coming from the north, Scarlet, where you guys are getting that reading. Then I guess we're all in accord here. I guess we head north. As you all track on through the snow, you realize that the Shivering Isles is definitely experiencing weather that it is not used to. For a lot of the trees and whatnot have actually begun to fall over due to the weight of the snow on their branches, which is not something you see often. They're not falling over right now on you, but you can tell that they've, fallen over. As you proceed onward, the path becomes slightly clearer, almost as if the snow itself is getting melted away by the very lanterns that are on the path. They glow a very eerish green glow in the blizzard. But as you proceed onward, you realize that the land becomes less swampy and more hill-like. As you've walked for about a good 15 minutes now, you start to see some hills appear, and you see some old ruins, almost looking like a Stonehenge. Lakora, you see something that you notice off to the side of the road. It seems to be a sign, or a warning sign, very similar to what those of the Fell tribes put. It has bones and skin and hide tethered all over it. However, rather than having a tribal symbol upon the sign, it has the symbol of the Heartless on it, the red cross that you saw before.
So, since my wolf is a construct, wouldn't he get immunity to fortitude?
Yeah, I'm gonna give that to you, but it's gonna cost a lot of points. But yeah, if you can go ahead and take that power, that'll definitely be a lot of where your points are going. You can add flaws to it if you want. Like, you can add flaws to a lot of stuff, so just let me know.
Alrighty.
As you approach the ruins, you can see that the blizzard slightly lights up, and you can see that they've been in kind of a disarray for quite some time. Would everyone in the party roll me a perception check? Or investigation, or whatever. Alright, so Winter, could you go ahead and roll yours? Well, that's no good. I think I gave you a plus 10. So you got a 12. So luckily, Lacora, Scarlet, and Rhino all notice that there appear to be humanoid figures hiding in the snow. Let me get their pictures. They appear to be very hard to see, but you definitely know they're there. You can tell from their distortions. So you guys can tell that it looks like they were setting up an ambush for you, but you guys clearly know they are there. It appears to be two humanoids with strange-looking weapons, and Una, you recognize the other ones as what look like savage or tribal orcs. Lakora, most of your stuff is for alchemy and artificing, like making items and then using them at, so and so amount before they run out. In terms of rune placing, you'd have to hand draw them and then roll your artifice craft check, and then if you succeed, it does a little like rune on that square. Since mostly the alchemical ingredients and whatnot I gave you was for potions, bombs, and I think I gave you like a couple minor spell scrolls things. I think you can scribe scrolls too. Okay, go ahead and roll an intimidation, since that's clearly an intimidation check there. They hear your words, but they do not seem to be impeded. So at this point, everyone may roll initiative since they did not surprise you. Scarlet?
I'm trying to find it.
No worries. Time for the orcs to roll. Then I'll have Mr. Snake Man in the back row, who's currently hiding. No one has seen him yet, so I'll move him off the map. Okay, so he is going to do his thing, and Scarlet is up first.
Scarlet will probably go and shoot.
Which one?
Wrong thing.
I assume click and hold to do the ping.
Yeah.
Alright, go ahead and roll your attack. Oh, very nice. Piercing crit, so he will roll Fortitude. He fails by 1, so the arrow sticks into his leg and he goes, "Oh!"
And after that, Scarlet goes out. Haha, I knew where you are. The shadow told me.
Zareth the Soulless. If Winter can decide what he wants to do. Charge. Nice hit. Very nice. Right, so I think your sword is damage 10. Yeah, I gave you full. Yeah, so he's got to roll DC 25 or DC 20, I think. Oh dear God. He failed by a lot. I think that's an instant kill. Yeah, that's 4 degrees. That's an instant kill. So, the guy with the strange-looking equipment and the gun pops up, only to see a giant fucking claymore coming down, cleaving his skull. That's it for that guy. Alrighty, so that is Zareth. You do have move by attack, so you moved an attack. You can still move, I think, 5 feet if you want. Jesus Christ, that was a good hit. Excellent. The orcs will now go. Scarlet, this rifleman will go full auto on you. That's going to miss. I know for a fact your dodge is more than that. So, yeah, he fails. He goes full auto, but he's not ready for the spring, and the bullets just go flying past you. The orc, on the other hand, is going to throw a tomahawk at you. And I think I know for a fact that your dodge is more than a 3, so...
Yeah, I think it's full.
Well, so what's like your dodge right now?
Dodge is 10.
Right, so 10 and 10s. Right, so 10 and 10, so it would actually be 20. So yeah, he misses completely. Hatchet goes flying by you. And then Rhino, the other one's going to throw an axe at you because why not? And he misses miserably. Zach is going to go over here, pull out his dual Spiner pulse pistols, and he's going to do suppressive fire. Let's see if this works. That's a 19. That does hit both defense. So for anyone doing range attacks, so Scarlet and Rhino, these two guys will have lower defense for ranged attacks. And core, yeah, if you want to do a ranged attack, these two guys have lower defense. And with that, Zach is laying down cover fire, so it is now Rhino's turn.
No, we'll back away, pull out his sticks first, and open fire.
All right.
See how far we'll do it.
Are you targeting one target, or are you going to do your whole mass death thing?
Dang.
Okay, so I think there's plenty of room for you to position it to where it hits just your enemies.
I have to center it on an enemy.
Okay.
Target one enemy.
Right, but do you out of curiosity, do you have to declare it's always an AoE, or can you declare single target?
Have to use an alternate effect in order to make it single target.
Okay. So are you going to hit any friendlies with this?
Well, 10 seconds ago, yes. 10 seconds from now, probably not.
Okay.
That far back. Targeting this one.
Right. Go ahead and roll. All right, excellent. So you hit all the orcs and you miss Winter anyway, so that's good. All right, so that first damage 11. So I think you hit all the enemies, correct?
Within 30 feet of this.
Yes.
This one, however, is subject to multi-attack. Does a 16 hit?
Yes.
Does a 16 get more than 2 successes? 2 degrees of success.
No. It is 1 degree of success.
So every target within 30 feet of this guy has to make a dodge. Well, he gets hit directly. He takes damage 11.
Mm-hmm. So
this guy
I'll
has
go.
to dodge against damage 10.
Fail. So the guy you centered it on is definitely dead. Now I got to figure out what the other guys get hit here. So I assume they all make their toughness, or would it be a? Because you hit them, you hit all of their defenses. So I think they just make
No.
their toughness now.
They need to roll push. They're in an area of effect. They need to roll dodge first to see if
Okay.
they have the DC.
Gotcha. Success.
Who is this?
That's Zareth.
Also is in the area of effect.
Yep, I'll roll for him here.
Who's this?
Cora. Same thing.
Cora's also in the
Yeah,
area of effect.
they're fine. Dodge. I rolled it for you, Corey. Don't worry about it. So 1, 2. I think you hit 3 of the orcs.
And then anyone that passed the dodge, everybody who failed the dodge rolls against 10 ranks of damage.
All right, so those guys succeeded, so they're not worried. So these 2 orcs have to roll against a damage, what, 10, you said?
Failed, they roll against damage 10. If they succeeded, they roll against damage 5.
Okay, excellent. Okay, those 2 orcs definitely failed by 4 degrees. Lakora and Zareth, roll your toughness. 1d20 plus your toughness. Oh, damn. Nice.
Hey, bot, should I just go off of the construct sheet that's in the book?
If you want, yeah.
Just like tweak it a little
So, what happens, Zareth, the bullets ping off Zareth's armor, not hurting him at all. And Lakora, you just sit there and take bullets to the back of the head and just tank it. Right, you took down 2 of them, so I guess you get to attack the other works again?
I get to make another attack if there's another target within range. There's this guy. What about this guy? He was also within 30 feet.
Did I make... I think he made his roll. Yeah, he made it.
To make the toughness?
He does.
You want to take down 2, I will target this guy.
Alright. And are you using AoE or are you doing single target on this guy?
The same attack with takedown 2.
Okay.
Lord.
It's definitely a hit.
With his lower defense, does that get the bonus from multi-attack?
Yes, it does.
Save against, I think, 13 ranks of damage.
Yeah, he's going to fail. Okay, yeah, he's gonna die. He's gonna get hit. Zareth and Lakora, go ahead and roll another dodge roll. 1d20 plus your dodge. Fine. Botch. So, Lakora, go ahead and roll me your toughness. Okay, so let me see what degree that is. Actually, let me see what the armor is. Okay, Lakora is actually fine. Zareth, roll me your toughness. Oh, that's not bad, actually. I think that's not even a degree. 1, 2, 3. No, it's not even a degree. So Zareth and Lakora, once again, you take bullets to the back and you're okay.
This?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Zach's got his energy shield up, so this gives him a bonus. Let me do that. Oh yeah, he's fine. At least use Dwarven Standard. Yeah, Zach's got his energy shield up, so bullets are just bouncing off his shield. So Lakora, it is now. Well, actually, Rhino, do you have move and attack? Do you have move by action?
I do not.
Okay, so Rhino's turn is over. It is now Lakora's turn, and Lakora, you see the snake guy appear up out of the snow with a bunch of snakes around him. Okay, so Ice Blast, go ahead and roll your range attack. That is a botch. Your icicle goes high. Going back up at the top for Snake Man. Lakora, he is going to try and use... He's actually just simply going to use Snake Bite on you. One of his snakes stretches out and tries to bite at you. That hits your... Yeah, that hits you. So let's see, this is overtime poison effect, but right now it's just damage 4. Lakora, go ahead and roll me 1d20 plus your toughness, DC 16. Alright, you beat that, so now roll me 1d20 with your toughness, DC 16 again. So just roll it again. Okay, so he lashes out and the snake bites you, but it doesn't manage to pierce you, and you manage to shake off the poison. Scarlet Muffled Snow.
Scarlet. She's snake man, right?
Yep.
Scarlet's gonna shoot him.
Oh, nice hit again. Yeah, that'll definitely hit him. Unfortunately, you hit him straight on with the arrow, and it kind of sticks into him and seems to do almost no damage. He pulls it out and looks at you and he says, "Is that it?"
I say, of course not. We just have to wait for the darkness to seep in. And after that, I'm done.
Alrighty. It is Zareth the Soulless, yeah. Okay, roll 1d20 plus 10, Winter. He manages to avoid the aura. Actually, is your... I forget, is your aura just an auto... No. No? I think it's a roll... No, he's got to make a... Yeah, that's right, he's got to make a save. Yeah, either way, he makes it. He manages to shake off your aura. Zack is going to try and provide covering fire against him. He does not succeed, although he's shooting at him. So, Rhino, you're up.
We are all out of minions, correct?
Yep.
What a suck.
Try not to hit your allies, man. That thing is dangerous.
Couldn't afford selective.
Yeah, I know, we all know the feeling. Although I would argue that because they're firearms, you could at least decide if you want it to be single target. You don't have to state AoE all the time. Even though I know it doesn't say it in the book, I would argue that if you have an AoE possibility in a weapon attack, I would argue that you could potentially target single, especially since they're firearms.
Well, you don't know. These may be explosive rounds. Each of these bullets is exploding.
It could be, but I don't know. It depends on how you worded it, man. It's all up to you.
I think I have to holster my guns and run in for a melee charge unless... it's out of the way, but I don't think that person's going to get out of the way, so... And then charge.
Alright, you charge. Roll it.
Alright.
Let's see, damage 6. Okay, that will hit. Damage 6, so that's damage 6. That's DC 16. I believe he's okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The DC was 21.
Oh, I thought that was the to hit, because you got to roll to hit him. Yeah, wasn't the 21 to hit him, to hit his defense?
Yes, I rolled 21 to hit him, and it's a toughness check, DC 21.
Oh, okay, damage 6, so DC 21 is damage 6.
I rolled a 21 to hit him. I rolled an 8 on the die, plus I had 13 modifier. That was a 21 result.
Yeah. I'm just curious, because I know that each damages have their own DC. I think damage 6 is DC 21, right?
So that is correct.
Okay.
Damage rank 6, it's DC 20.
So 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's at least 1 degree. So he takes a bruise. As you punch him in the face. Lakora. Una, it is your turn. Oh, thank you for that table, by the way. Just because I had to move my computer, I didn't have my book in front of me. So I'm kind of having to do things by memory. Sometimes that gets confusing. Yeah, it's the create rank. It should tell you on your thing. I remember it specifically says under your thing. Actually, I think it specifically tells you in volume how much you can do. So you're going to throw that? Or just try and melee it with him? Okay, so go ahead and roll me a melee attack. That will miss. This guy's pretty nimble. So he is going to turn to probably the giant freaking metal man that just punched him in the face, and he's going to use Energy Chi Punch on Rhino. I believe that that might not hit you. What's your parry?
Push 15.
Excellent. So he misses. So Rhino is tink. Yeah, tink. Doing. Scarlet, you're up.
Scarlet for aim for the name. Yeah, shoot him in the head.
All right, this will be a -4 to hit. All right, so -4. So that's going to miss. You kind of go low and you hit the snow. Zareth, you're up. So power attack 2. So that will be -2 to hit, +2 damage, but you miss him. He dodges. He's like, whoa! Zach sees that you guys are in cover, so... Man, I am rolling like shit today. Except on my saves. Let's see, Zach, can he do that? Zach's going to hold his action and target when he gets a clean shot. Rhino, you're up.
I got something. I had something in my eye.
.23 hit, damage 6. Alright, that hits. So once again, that's just about 2, so he's going to get... Let's see, does he have any special abilities? No, he's getting another bruise. Yeah, fortified healing, regeneration. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Lakora. Rhino, you're hitting this guy, but it doesn't seem to be doing quite as much as you think it might be doing. Not only that, you've noticed that since on that last turn, he seems to have kind of healed up where you hit him. He's like, guys, can't we just talk this out? I mean, we all know you can't beat me. Yes, due to the way your power works, you need to at least be able to establish targeting on something before you freeze it. You don't have omni targeting. Please, I am the darkness. So, Lakora, what shall you do? Yes, you could technically target that. That would be a difficult target. So that would be minus... I'm just going to say that'd be a -6. Alright, that's actually a pretty cool idea. Go ahead and roll your range attack at -6. That will miss. He is going to enter a defensive stance, and he's going to kind of do this weird motion with his hands, and you see that like he's kind of almost creating mirror images, but they're not actually making clones. They're just kind of whirling around him. Typical motion where you see like his hand move, and then you see the blurs kind of follow it, and he enters defensive mode basically. So Scarlet, go ahead. He's like, I would just leave, but I gotta see just how good you guys are. So come on. I'll even give you guys some free shots.
Well,
What do you wish to do, Scarlet?
Power attack?
Okay, so power attack. So do you want to do a full power attack?
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
want to do it.
Basically, it'll be a -5 to hit, but it'll be a +5 to your base damage. That's right. So instead of a 24, that's a 19, but instead of a DC 15, it would be a DC 20. So unfortunately, he is in defensive mode, so that will miss. He grabs your arrow, and it just it. You can tell that when you shot your arrow, it kind of jerked him, but he caught it, and you missed.
Okay, I'm done.
Zareth. Remember, Scarlet, you got a lot of cool shadow powers you can use too if you want. You don't just always have to shoot them. Plus, you can also do that. You can also infuse your shadow powers to your bow if you want. There's a lot of cool things you can. There's a lot of cool things you can do with them. I know you haven't really checked them out yet, but they're awesome. Holy moly, Zareth. So that's a crit. Yeah. Are you using fast? Yeah. So fast grab and choke. Oh boy. That's a crit. Let's see what happens here. Okay, there's no way. Yeah. Well, either way, you've got him at this point. That's a crit. He can't beat that. Because remember, your DC is doubled. Uh, so yeah, Zareth, as he's kind of catching the arrow that Scarlet shot, he leaves himself open for just a brief second, and you dash in and grab him, and you are now choking him. You have him lifted up off the ground. He is now grappled by you. And he is going to take that. Let's see, succeed. Well, he succeeded, so he's just taking bruise damage. But yeah, you've got him grappled and choked. Well, he would respond to you, but you're choking him. So Zach is going to kind of move in and get ready for an attack. Rhino, you can see that he is now getting grappled and choked. I don't remember specifically what the rules are for attacking someone who is grappled. Do you remember off the top of your head, John?
Push. What degree did he fail the grapple by?
He failed by 1 degree. Yeah, he failed by 1 degree. Actually, my mistake, John. After looking at some more numbers here, I realized that he critted. He actually failed by 2 degrees for the grapple. The defender.
Target is defenseless. I just have to hit it AC 10.
Excellent. Break his spine.
I am going to alternate effect the Dexferus. myself multi-attack on my strength damage.
Righto.
Curable while I'm at it.
Say what?
My strength damage is multi-attack and incurable.
Nice.
Trading. I have 55 points. I may as well go whole hog. I tip my hand too far to let him know everything I can do, because he might survive this and report back.
True. So, I mean, it's kind of pointless, but I'll still go ahead and have you roll to hit. I mean, might as well. You could always botch. Oh, shit. Fucking A. Yeah, that hits.
The full multi-attack, so he's saving against damage 11.
Okie dokie. So you're just wailing on his spine. Yeah, he's starting to get in trouble now. All right, Lakora, it's your turn. You got Zareth choking him, and then you've got Rhino just punching his back to shit. He is now taking -2 to all rolls. Well, he's literally got defense 10 at this point, so you can literally do almost anything you want, and you're probably going to hit. Right, so first things first, I take it you form an icicle and stab him in the gut. I'll go ahead and have you take a complex action since he's basically going to be fucked if you hit him. Alright, so go ahead and roll melee attack. DC will be 10, even with the minus you hit. Yeah. Yeah, my buddy Nathan was complaining so much last time because he rolled like 3 19s, but he never took improved crit on his pistol. Alright, go ahead and roll again the core just for measure. Complex combat action. His eyes start to go wide as he realizes that not only is he getting choked out and punched from the back, but now he's getting disemboweled. And the flask explodes. So, just for the hell of it, Rhino, Cora, and Zareth all roll a dodge. DC 12. You succeed. 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 No one is hit by the blast radius. Unfortunately, Mr. Snake Man takes the full brunt of it. Yeah, he gets hurt real bad. So yeah, after getting choked, so Zareth, I'm going to go to your turn, so he's going to get choked again. He starts to cough up blood as he's just getting punched and choked, and Zareth, with your choke attack, he's going to take more damage. So yeah, he's taking a minus. Zareth, go ahead and roll me 1d20 plus 10, just because that's your choke damage. Of course, he rolls like a boss on it. But you beat him anyway. Yeah, he takes damage. So once again, he basically is taking damage 4, 5, yeah, no, 8. So he's done. So Lakora, as you go up to him and you basically almost exploded his insides, he starts to kind of just cough up blood, and he looks at you and he's like, "Well, I guess this is it for me." And with that last attack, Winter, you just crush his throat just completely. Like literally, he just crumples and falls on the ground. He lies on the snow with his neck basically crushed, and his basically his gut was disemboweled and half exploded outward. Scarlet, as you walk up to his body, you can definitely tell that there were dark energies about him, but they seem to be leaving him and retreating very quickly. But yeah, this guy had darkness up the ass. You chop off his head for good measure. His head goes rolling a little bit to the north. Are you sending it to Cephalon Samaris? No. Well, he is totally dead. So there's going to be no interrogation here. This guy is just dead. So, Lakora, you go about skinning the man. Go ahead and roll me survival or a. Yeah, I think it's actually profession. So, if you don't have survival, go ahead and roll 1d20 plus 8. You are successfully skinning him without doing too much of a sloppy job. Granted, it's a little bit difficult in some areas because he no longer has a head and his inside stomach was blown outward. Bit of a difficult task. Rhino, you slowly start to recover from your fatigue. All is quiet as you go to work, Cora. You pull out his heart. It seems to be a pretty standard looking human heart. Way to go for the triple team, guys. That was awesome. Zach kind of pipes up. Well, now that we've quelled the ambush, maybe now we can actually scout these ruins without a problem.
Yeah. I agree. Let's do this too.
Agreed. Scarlet, would you like to come with me and help scout out?
Yes, I'll help you out.
See if we can't find anything. Scarlet, go ahead and roll me a perception check as you and him are scouting the ruins. Oh, he botched. He's not seeing anything. He's having equipment malfunctions. Scarlet, as you and Zach search the ruins, you look around, and at first you don't really see much, but you have a big kind of you feel darkness coming from the center, and you can see that in the center of the ruins there is a staff or what looks like a pole of some kind with strange carvings on it. It kind of rests in the middle of an altar, just kind of standing there.
Well, Scarlett's gonna go up and like try to touch it.
Steel Rhino, as you look around, there are no life signs. Go ahead and roll me a perception check just for the hell of it, though. As you reach out and touch the staff, you feel a little bit of dark energy emit from it, but at the same time, you feel light come from it as well. It doesn't seem to affect you in any way.
Well, I'm just gonna pick up and be like, oh well, look what I found. A little staff of sorts.
It's a short staff, not really much of a staff, more of a walking stick, you'd almost say. It has a strange carving at the head with a couple faces and some intricate symbols and carvings that go all along its metal surface down to the base. None in a language that you notice. Yeah, Cora, you can see she's not really hiding it, she's just looking at it. I don't know, Cora, why don't you take a look at it? Yeah, Lacora, as you look at it, do you think you know what this is? Actually, Lacora, when Scarlet says that, you definitely know what this is. You've heard rumors about this. It's the one that does random effects. The Skyrim one. As Zack kind of scans around, he says, "Huh, found another sealed portal here. Well, better get this thing sealed." Getting off, he looks over and he says, "Hey, Rhino, there's something over here. I think this might be actually something from your world." Yeah, Scarlet. Una seems to, Cora seems to be able to. She seems to know what that is. It seems to be a data fragment, Rhino. As Zack slowly starts to seal up the other portal that he found, you notice that the blizzard kind of dies down as he seals this. All right, then, John, you just look at it and you're not sure what it is. Nonetheless, Zack collects it. P.S. John, if there's anything you want me to start throwing in from your backstory or anything you think you can kind of give a little twist on something, you can PM me in Discord if there's anything like you might want me to add or do just to give you some flavor. But anyway, going back to the staff, Scarlet, Lakora says it's basically, from what you can understand, a staff of randomness, which is both dark and light. So with that, you guys have sealed up the portal. We found a strange artifact and no Heartless around. But it seems the Cora has finally gotten a bit of a vengeance that she so desired greatly. But with that, you don't seem to have much more purpose here. Zack kind of looks around and says, "So, we're going to beam back up?" Although this area has quite a bit of energy flowing through it, this is not the area that has the disturbance. We'll have to keep scanning for that. Everyone ready to go back to the ship? He looks around. Excellent. right. Beam us up, Shepard. And with that, you are all beamed back aboard the ship into the hollow room. And with that, Shepard and Zack start to discuss findings and go back to trying to find the location of where you guys need to go to actually, seal off this world from the Heartless and figure out what in the hell's going on with this so-called cult. But other than that, you guys are all left to your own devices at the moment. Indeed, Cora. As soon as we can find back your homeland, we'll actually send you to the right time. Although we are in your correct world, I do not think you would want us to send you to the wrong timeline. We're still looking for that one. Unless you wish to stay in the realms of the Mad God, which we are still not sure is completely secure yet. Not to mention, Cora, on a personal note for your character, there is a strange prickling sensation that kind of started like when someone's watching you and you feel it on the back of your neck, your hair stand up. Lacora's been feeling that ever since you killed him. Once you get on the ship, that feeling kind of dissipates a little bit, but as you walk around the ship or do anything, you still feel like you've got this strange twinge that something's watching you, but there's no one that is. You've clearly killed him, and your enemy is defeated, but you've just had this very odd feeling. Yeah, you checked your active effects. There's nothing blessing you, there's nothing afflicting you, there's no magic upon you. It's just a strange feeling. You scan the weird data thingy. It seems to be mostly calculations in cryptic. It's kind of just all jumbled up in one big mess. But as you start to scan it and decode it slowly, it appears to be information on the warframes. Just basic data on certain ones like Excalibur, Limbo, Atlas. Basically just standard data too, like nothing really like specific, just like height, weight, armor, density, stuff like that. However, a couple of the warframes that you notice that appear on the imaging look as though they've been tainted or modified in some way, but you're not familiar with this modification. They also have strange symbols on them that you don't recognize. Appears to be works in progress. Well, she took his skin. She didn't take the head. The head you guys left back down on the planet unless someone decided to take that. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So, yeah, you take the head. You place the head in proper security. No one really claimed yes to the staff, so I'm just putting it in the inventory of the ship, and you guys can pick it up or look at it at your disposal. Neither Scarlet nor Cora nor Rhino nor Winter claimed the staff, so I'm just putting it in the general inventory of the ship. It'll just be in the artifact room.
Evil idea, adding it as an alternate effect to the Dexferus.
Dear God, man. Dex Furious firing the staff of madness? That's just wrong. That's just wrong, man.
No, I mean I put the as an alternate effect. I put the Dexferus away and whip out the staff as my melee weapon.
Oh, gee, yeah. I
So
won't
every
use.
time you hit someone with it, they turn into a chicken.
Or a random effect happens.
Every time I hit something with it, only one thing is certain: somebody in that exchange is about to have a bad day.
Yes.
Yes.
It could be the enemy, or it could be Rhino, but one of them is going to have a bad day.
So, Bot, did you get the stats I sent you?
Did you just put them on?
To you.
Did you just put them on the sheet, or? Oh, I see. You sent a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I did not see that you put a sheet up. I can enter it in for you.
Yep, I see it all there, and it's approved. Go ahead and fill in the space. Yeah, because I gave you a sheet for him. In all honesty, it's the Staff of Madness. I don't think anyone can technically claim it.
No.
Staff's gonna do what it's gonna want to do. I can just see it now. Sir, we've sent Rhino down to the planet. Rhino runs up, hits an enemy. Hey, sir? Yeah? Where's the planet? I don't know. It was just there. Where'd it go? Sir, is that a giant chicken floating through space? Well, I don't know. It depends on how Rhino is himself, though. Even the Warframes do technically have souls. So yeah, he'd be rage, not really madness. If you ever had the Staff of Rage, let him know. Alright, so I think I'll go ahead and give everyone some declarations to do on the ship. And then, since we've already been going pretty good here and no one else is showing up, I guess we'll go ahead and end it here after everyone makes their declarations on the ship.
I think Casimir would just be continuously training with the dog.
You really wanted to make that goal.
Yes, I did.
I love that description. Alrighty. So Cora will be doing crafting, Jared will be doing training. Alrighty. Yeah, that Dexterous is going to be a problem eventually, until you can get it targeting to only enemies. But hence is the problem of cost of points. And session recording stops now.